Good morning and welcome to the Splash Live at Greater West Bloomfield's only local morning show, giving you exclusive access into people, businesses, and events in our community. We are bringing you this show live daily, weekdays at 9:30 a.m. with me, your host, Maddie Muschin. Before we dive into today's show, every week we highlight someone, an educator, student, business, or organization from our Greater West Bloomfield community going above and beyond. If you would like to submit an entry for someone, you can scan the QR code on the screen, fill out the Google form with the person's name, their contact information, and reasons why you think they should be recognized for our Person of the Week. Now let's go check out what's going on in our Greater West Bloomfield community. This Saturday, the Board and Brush Studio, tomorrow, February 19th, has a 2 p.m. pick your own DIY workshop. If you're looking for a fun evening out with family or friends, this is a fun event for you. You will get to create your own unique wood sign or clock where you can select a wood project from their gallery. Board and Brush Studio provides all the material and instructs you to create a step-by-step beautiful piece. You get to choose from a variety of paint and wood stain colors in the workshop, and payments will be collected in the studio. The time of the workshop, cash or credit is accepted. There are only 9 seats left, so you can book your spot today on their website, boardandbrush.com. The Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society is presenting Old Islam in Detroit, Rediscovering the Muslim American Past on Tuesday, February 22nd at 7 p.m. at Connect in West Bloomfield and Orchard Mall. Michigan is home to one of the oldest and most diverse Muslim communities in the U.S., where a dynamic process of political and religious change is still unfolding. This talk explores the rise of Detroit's earliest Muslim communities with author Sally Howell. This event is free, and you can contact the Historical Society to register for that event. The West Bloomfield Parks is working with the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force to bring fun, free events to celebrate Black History Month. Their last event to celebrate Black History Month will be their Black Expo, held on Saturday, February 26th at 10 a.m. and will go until 2 p.m. at Orchard Mall. This is a free event that is family friendly. There will be a DJ as well as West Bloomfield Jazz Band will be performing at 11 a.m. There will also be displays and demos highlighting careers, resources, and Black-owned businesses. Some of the businesses that will be there is House of Barbecue, Jules by Joyce, Authentic Existence, and so many more. For all these events, you can head over to the West Bloomfield Parks website to register. If you have an event you would like us to feature here on the Splash Live, you can send us a message on our social media pages at Civic Center TV and Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. Coming up, I'll be talking with Suzanne Levine. She is the Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. But before that, this past weekend, West Bloomfield Parks hosted their Love Yourself Wellness While Black event that combined education about heart health and nutrition while also getting up and moving. Dr. Kim Winston-Matthews presented on keeping your blood pressure at a normal level and how to practice heart-healthy habits that will help you. Splash reporter Brendan Schreiber has the story.
During the Love Yourself Wellness While Black event at WB Parks Connect, Dr. Kim Winston-Matthews, a family medicine specialist at Henry Ford, informed the community with information regarding blood pressure.
So you may have seen this chart before. I'm just going to break this down a little bit for you. And they have changed the numbers. We used to say, 120 over 80 is perfect. Now we're saying it needs to be less than 120 over 80. So the studies do show that if you can get to less than 120 over 80, that reduces your risk of heart disease. And the green is less than 120 over 80, and that is normal, okay? If it is, the top number is between 120 and 129, then it's elevated. When it's elevated, that doesn't mean you need medication. That means you need someone like Nicole to help you with lifestyle improvements, things like that. Someone like Rochelle to help you with your nutrition, that type of thing. When it goes up to hypertension, that's when you need some medical assistance. If you are 140 or over 90 or higher, that is a big problem. And so if you have seen these kind of numbers 3 or more times, this is not really a time to say, oh, I'll just worry about it later. You do need some intervention. Probably, and I know people don't like medication, but probably medication if you're consistently over 140 over 90, okay?
Later in the presentation, Dr. Kim Winston-Matthews also touched on heart health with tips and tricks for healthy habits and exercise.
So, the stress alone is situational and maybe short-term. For example, if you go to your doctor's office and they're wearing this glaring white coat, that might be a little stressful, okay? But usually it'll go down after that. The problem is what we do with coping mechanisms, and we'll talk with Dr. Lino about the coping mechanisms that we have been using for stress that are not helping us, like poor diet, alcohol use, smoking. All of those things are definitely linked to high blood pressure. Obesity on one of these charts, and we need to get our weight down. Even a 10-pound weight loss can help. Cutting back on alcohol. So how much alcohol can you have? You don't need alcohol as part of a healthy diet. If you choose to partake, we do recommend no more than 2 a day for men and 1 a day for women. Exercise, and we are going to give you a chance to do some exercise today. Adults should get at least 150 minutes of exercise, and there are different things you can do, gardening, walking. Also some strength training, about 2 days a week at least, and targeting all your muscle groups.
Thank you to WB Parks and Dr. Kim Winston Matthews. For more information, you can contact her at Henry Ford Health Systems. Reporting for The Splash, I'm Brendan Schreiber.
Thank you again to WB Parks and Dr. Kim Winston Matthews for helping us all celebrate Black History and Heart Health Month by taking care of ourselves and our loved ones. Later on, we'll be looking at our Person of the Week and how they have worked diligently to make sure that Michigan Week highlights all of those people in our community that are making an impact on others. But before that, we'll be joined by the Executive Director of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, Suzanne Levine. All that and more after this short break.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine. To keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live. I'm Maddie Muschin. It's now time to talk about some of the resources and events that the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce has for its seniors. With the woman who oversees it all, joining us now is the Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, Suzanne Levine. Suzanne, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you, and hope everyone is staying safe out there this morning.
Oh yes, it was definitely a struggle getting to work with the roads today. But Suzanne, let's start off by first talking about the Senior Resource Group and what it encompasses for those West Bloomfield seniors that we have here in our community.
Well, originally, I created the Senior Resource Networking portion as a chamber member benefit for chamber members because I'm a business matchmaker, and I noticed there were all these organizations, home health care workers, real estate agents, assisted and independent living memory care facilities, and they all wanted to do business with seniors. So I created a networking group to sort of facilitate their connection. And then once we realized that that group was going, we made a fabulous connection over at West Bloomfield Parks and Rec, where they offer classes, free classes for seniors. The networking portion of the Senior Resource Group is open to chamber members only, but the talk times is open to all seniors and their children. And it's a great resource for them to find information about health, Maybe they're looking for, a facility that perhaps in the future they might need. Maybe they need a home health care worker, or maybe they just want information from a doctor about their heart or whatever. So it's been a fabulous opportunity for seniors through Parks and Rec, which advertises these courses not only online, but in their brochure that comes out. And it's on Connect. It's one of their great new facilities for seniors at Orchard Mall. And these seniors that actually have been meeting in person, I believe, since October. So it's been really great. We did go virtual for a while, but now we're back in person so the seniors can get all the information they need to make healthy, wealthy, and wise choices.
Suzanne, you talked about the networking portion for those chamber members. When you talk about doing business with the seniors, what exactly do you mean by that? And what types of conversations do these businesses have with those seniors here in West Bloomfield?
Well, we're very careful to make sure that these aren't sales pitches. And we've been very fortunate. Alan Mindell, who is with National Realty and is a board member, he has sort of taken the helm over of the Senior Resource Group, and he creates themes every month for these seniors, and he monitors, who speaks. So usually for example, next month it's, and he makes it like an interesting theme. It's Keep the Beat. And we have two fabulous women from Block Advisors that are going to be talking about how to keep their taxes in order. And also we have Chief Patton to talk about safety. So we have a lot of different themes, and we really monitor to make sure that this is important and critical information, but not a sales pitch where they might try to take advantage of seniors.
And then, Suzanne, you also have those talk times that you guys do in collaboration with West Bloomfield Parks. Could you tell us a little bit about the in-person events and some of those talk times, some of the themes that you guys have done in the past events, and how it's impacting those seniors and their families as well?
Well, it's been really great because, as I said, we pick a theme, and we have 3 different speakers that get to speak for 30 to 40 minutes. For example, I think January was resolutions. There was kind of a play on words. It was just last week, actually this week. Ensure your independence, EN, that ensure. But they had someone from an assisted living, independent living. They had someone from Beaumont Hospital talking about, how to age in place. When is it time to kind of think about moving to a facility? So they always try to have interesting speakers from the hospitals. From Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital has supplied us a lot of speakers. So has Beaumont. Physical therapists come in and talk about mobility. So it's really been a great opportunity for seniors to learn about different organizations that will, try to help these seniors. As I say, it's a healthy balance of healthy, wealthy, and wise. Sometimes it's just a fun theme. We had someone about memorabilia, how to, scrapbook. So it isn't always just kind of a, like diabetic or heart kind of talk. Sometimes it's just a fun talk for these seniors, and it's a great way for them to even socialize. And we know that the pandemic has hit them particularly hard, so they've been very motivated to get out and come to these in-person senior talks. We put them on our website, wbloomfieldchamber.com. I send out an e-blast so people can register for that on our website also, or they can go to Parks and Rec and look up all the great senior activities. And Heidi Russell is the senior coordinator there. She's awesome to work with, and she will also guide them to the classes and how to register for these. They're free great classes, and there's usually a healthy snack that the different presenters provide as well.
Suzanne, you gave us a little bit of background into how those talk times with West Bloomfield Park started, but what was the inspiration behind the Senior Resource Group? Was it something that you saw lacking in the community that caused you to start that, or was it, maybe a certain member that came up to you and it gave you that inspiration to start the Senior Resource Group?
Well, about 8 years ago, I noticed that we had so many different businesses that are involved in the senior industry, and I kept matchmaking them. I said, oh, you should meet this person, and I realized that it would take some of the not to sound lazy, but some of the burden off of me if I could actually have a group where they could network with each other. So it was born out of that. Originally, we met in person. We did transition a little bit in virtual, since the pandemic, but we're hoping to go back to in-person meetings at the West Bloomfield Library or even at the Connect. And it's a great way for people not only to, talk about their businesses, but also for them to network and perhaps refer, to other businesses. It's sort of like it's not quite a BNI. I mean, it's not exclusive, but it is a great networking opportunity for these businesses to meet other, like-minded businesses and perhaps refer to them. Perhaps the hospital can refer to a home health care worker that they're discharging, perhaps a physical therapist. We have a great attorney, Eric Glick, who does wills and probate. He's going to be speaking at our Connect with an Expert next month. I believe it's March 8th. So these are just great opportunities for the community to learn more about the businesses in their community, but to help their parents make some educated decisions about their future. And we know that the big push is now for aging in place, where these seniors want to stay in their homes. So what resources are available to them are available through, Parks and Rec and the senior resource groups so that they can make educated decisions about their future.
Suzanne, as we wrap up here, is there anything that you've seen as benefits to these seniors, urging these seniors to get involved with either if they're a chamber member, getting involved with the networking events, or also through those talk times, if you wanted to share anything about how it would benefit them in the long run?
Well, as we know, the more you know, the better educated decision you can make about your future. So I urge everyone, these classes are free. Contact West Bloomfield Parks and Rec, Heidi Russell, or contact me and I can connect you with Alan Mindell. Perhaps there's something that a senior doesn't realize. Maybe they need a home health care worker. Maybe they want to talk about wills and trusts, or maybe they just want to have a fun couple free hours on the third Wednesday of every month from 10:30 to noon at Connect to meet other seniors.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your Friday morning and joining us again, Suzanne.
Thank you, and stay safe.
Thank you. Once again, I was joined by the Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, Suzanne Levine, talking about their senior resource group, as well as those talk times that they do in combination with West Bloomfield Parks. It's now time to take a look at our Person of the Week. This person has put their time and effort into coordinating Michigan Week happening in May. Her passion for the community and dedication to Michigan Week is evident through the time that she spends making sure this event highlights all those going above and beyond in our community. Let's go check out a look at why we named Deb Mackin our Person of the Week.
Deb Mackin, trustee for Greater West Bloomfield, has always been doing her part to help the community. During her recent visit on The Splash, she talked about the 50th Greater West Bloomfield's Michigan Week and how this event impacts the community.
Michigan Week is a statewide celebration that began, maybe 70 plus years ago. And here in Greater West Bloomfield, we began celebrating Michigan Week exactly 50 years ago. Michigan Week was created for 3 reasons at the state level, and we continue to keep those right in front of us right here in Greater West Bloomfield. So when the state of Michigan began Michigan Week, it was all about encouraging greater knowledge and awareness of Michigan. And we do that with Michigan and Greater West Bloomfield. And it was also to tell the world about the advantages of Michigan, and we keep that in front of us, the advantages of Greater West Bloomfield. And our third reason was to bring people and neighborhoods together, to raise awareness and to focus on the value of connecting as community, to make this a great place to live, work, volunteer, attend school, and raise a family. The West Bloomfield School District was one of the original founding partners of Greater West Bloomfield's Michigan Week. And you know what? At that time, there were probably 4 or 5 partners. So today there are 7. All 4 of the local units of government, Keegle Harbor, Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake in West Bloomfield Township, and there are 3 school districts that are officially partners: West Bloomfield Schools, Walled Lake Schools, and Bloomfield Hills Schools. Now, there's just a little bit of advantage to West Bloomfield because the West Bloomfield School District superintendent with the township supervisor for West Bloomfield over 50 years ago joined with community volunteers to kick all of this off.
Deb also informed us on how you can get involved in this annual event.
Please send us a note through the Contact Us tab, and one of us will absolutely get back to you. And what is absolutely notable is that Greater West Bloomfield, we believe, is the only remaining organization or community in the state that has continued this tradition. And this year, we are so proud to be celebrating our 50-year anniversary.
Deb's hard work and devotion to her community is why she is our Person of the Week.
Thank you to Deb Macon for all the work that she does to highlight and recognize those people in our community that are making an impact through Michigan Week that will be happening in May. We're going to take a short break here on the Splash Live, but when we get back, we'll be talking with Julia Cohen. She's the Youth Mental Health Coordinator at Jewish Family Services about their upcoming collaboration with the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. So don't go anywhere. We'll be talking with Julia after this break.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Teens a day die from texting and driving. Don't text and drive.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Muschin. We're now joined by Julia Cohen. She's the Youth Mental Health Coordinator at Jewish Family Services. Julia, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Julia, could you first start off with telling us a little bit about the event coming up in collaboration with the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce? It's going to be happening on February 24th with the Women's Inspiration Network.
Yes, we are so excited to be partnering with the Chamber of Commerce during Eating Disorder Awareness Week, which is next week from February 21st through February 27th. And so we will be hosting an event with the Women's Inspiration Network on Thursday morning at 8:30. Just being able to provide some information, some education and training around eating disorders to this group. So we're very excited to be able to partner.
Julia, could you talk about some of the speakers and the topics? Obviously, it's going to be about disordered eating, but could you go a little bit in depth about what one would get at the event there?
Yes, so myself and one of our community partners, Marcy Forta, will be speaking with the group, and topics will include eating disorder statistics, the costs and consequences of eating disorders, disordered eating versus eating disorders, what eating disorders really are, what someone who is struggling with an eating disorder may experience, some of the risks, signs, and symptoms, as well as kind of a discussion around diet culture, intuitive eating, and the Health at Every Size movement.
And then, Julia, how important is it to be talking about these tough topics, such as disordered eating in our community?
Yeah, so it is very important. The statistics are pretty daunting and alarming. Recent statistics show that as many as 28.8 million Americans, or 9% of the population, experience an eating disorder at some point in their lives. 2/3 of those are women. And additionally, every 52 minutes, someone dies as a direct result of an eating disorder. And I think especially looking at the pandemic, some of it is anecdotal and some of it is some data, but that there is an increase in the prevalence of eating disorders during the COVID-19 pandemic. So it's important now more than ever.
And Julia, at Jewish Family Services, you are the youth mental health coordinator there. How does that position play a role in the talk next week about disordered eating?
Yeah, so I oversee our community-wide youth mental health initiative called We Need to Talk. And so the event on Thursday with the Chamber of Commerce is just one of 3 events that we are hosting for the community next week. We have another one on Tuesday at 7 p.m., which is geared more towards the teens and young adults in our community. It's with, her name is Victoria Garrick. She's a podcaster, social media influencer, nonprofit founder, and she speaks a lot about body image and disordered eating. So we're really excited to have her. And then we have 2 eating disorder specialists from the University of Michigan joining us on Thursday evening to provide a talk for parents and youth professionals. So really just doing all that we can during this week between these 3 events to raise awareness and being able to talk about this topic.
And as your position as youth mental health coordinator, do you see people come in and talk to you about how their disordered eating or eating disorders can play a role in their mental health, and how do you either deal with that or give them advice to deal with those problems that they may be facing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing that we are trying to do with this initiative is reducing stigma so that, people who are struggling feel comfortable to come forward and ask for help. And once they do, we really want to make sure we're connecting them with people who specialize in the area of eating disorders. So we are also very fortunate at JFS that we recently received a year-long grant from the Jewish Women's Foundation. And this is allowing us to do even more outreach, awareness, and training for clinical staff so that there's a little bit more specialization in eating disorders and that we can do more work around this area over the next year.
Julia, if someone was interested in either registering for the Women Inspiration Network event on Thursday, or if they want to get involved with these other events that you guys have next week, how can one go about doing so and reaching out to get registered for those events?
Yeah, so the event on Thursday morning with the Chamber of Commerce, to register, they can email it's the West Bloomfield Commerce email, wbloomfieldchamber@gmail.com. And it will also be available for viewing afterwards on Facebook. And then for the other 2 events, you can register. It's JLive, JLIVE.app, so jlive.app, and both of those events are on there. And if you want to learn more about these events or just the work that we're doing, you can get more information at www.wn2t for we need to talk.org.
And Julia, are these events virtual or will they be in person?
Yes, so they will be virtual via Zoom.
Awesome. And then as we wrap up here, is there anything else you want to share either about those events happening next week or anything you do as the youth mental health coordinator at JFS?
So really, like I mentioned, yeah, we are really doing a lot of work around raising awareness, reducing stigma, providing, different mental health related trainings, suicide prevention trainings. So we are always looking, our events are free and open to everyone. So we welcome everyone to get involved, to join us for any of those trainings or community events. We know that youth are really struggling, and the pandemic has really raised the awareness of what's going on in terms of the youth mental health crisis. So we are kind of a call to action for everyone to get involved and join us in this work.
Well, Julia, thanks so much for coming on and talking to us today and this morning.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Once again, I was joined by the youth mental health coordinator at Jewish Family Services, Julia Cohen, talking about some of those events they have next week during Eating Disorder Week. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you again to Suzanne Levine and Julia Cohen for joining us this morning, telling us about some of the events that they have going on in the next week. A special thanks to our Zoom producer, Jared Clark, for coordinating the Zoom and making sure our guests joined us. As always, a big thank you to Calvin Brown, our board operator, for making the show possible each and every morning. And thank you for joining me as we explored all of the people and events in our greater West Bloomfield community. As always, you can make sure to tune in live on Civic Center TV, on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99, Monday through Friday at 9:30 to catch up on what's going on in our greater West Bloomfield community. You can also watch our show every morning on My Michigan TV. It's on mymytv.com. For all of our friends in Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, Kego Harbor, and West Bloomfield, happy Friday. Thank you for watching The Splash Live. I'm Maddie Muschin.